Hello everyone, and welcome back here to an all-new AD and DT with Athletics Director of LeMoyne, Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT. Always happy to be here with you Wednesdays, first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and exclusive in our multimedia marketing partnership with LeMoyne College and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Bob, how are you?
I'm excellent, Dan. How are you today?
Doing very well. Good to be here. I know we took a couple weeks off to both run around, and so how have the past few weeks been? It's weird to not be sitting with you, every couple weeks here. So
it's been great. It's been a great summer. We've been busy. Lots of topics going on here. Lots of conversation and discussion. We're excited to get the students back on campus here next week, and soccer season right around the corner. And we've been focused on a leadership change in the women's soccer program, on an unexpected change, but hopefully later today we'll have some good news to put out there to the public. Yeah,
so excited about what can come here today on Wednesday, August 3rd, so make sure you stay tuned for all of that. But yeah, it's been eventful. You and I always keep in contact when we're running around, and sometimes it's 1 a.m. or 10 p.m. or something like that. But what have you taken away from the fact that in these last few weeks, even though it's summer, within all of this, there was the corporate golf outing, there was the search for a new women's soccer head coach, there's the continuation of the background of realignment and reclassification. So as much as we let each other run around for a little bit here, we definitely have plenty to talk about.
We do, and it's exciting. We were able to, first of all, I'm really excited about the fact that we were able to extend our strength and conditioning coach for the first time in the history of LeMoyne College. We now have a full-time strength and conditioning coach. Ben Gall has been in that role for many years, but he's been in a part-time capacity, and we really targeted that as our top priority for our student athletes, to bring Ben to a full-time position. And we just were able, thanks to the commitment and the investment of the college and leadership, our CFO, Joe Grasso, our president, Dr. Lemira, were able to extend Ben into a full-time capacity. And that's someone who will benefit, every one of our student athletes will benefit from Ben's presence here. So we're really excited about that. We've made some additional changes to our staff, where we're going to bring in a nutritionist to help with our student athletes throughout the course of the year, not just a one-shot deal. There's going to be continual interaction there. We brought Dr. Jean Hart-Steffes, who was here in a different role on campus this past year. She's going to be working with our athletic department in the student wellness piece. So when we talk about priorities being our academic mission and our student athletes, we really back that up, and I think that we took more steps this year to show our student athletes, hey, we hear you, we're committed to your experience, we want to make sure it's a championship experience, but we also want to make sure that your mental health and wellness is top of everyone's mind, and we feel like we're really building a nice wall around them to make sure that they're in a good place, mentally and physically.
Yeah, and I know that that's something that we spoke about here, and all the steps that LeMoyne has taken to not just say you care about mental and physical health, emotional health, but that you're actually doing things to be proactive, to be there, to give avenues for student athletes to go to and to understand that leadership, that we all have trials and tribulations, and there needs to be things set in place so that, there is that aid to stay healthy. Because I think, growing up, I'm sure you can attest to this, I can attest to this at 36 years old, that, a lot of what I was told growing up was figure it out, get over it, stop complaining. And nowadays, there's more of an attention to what's going on. Is this a habitual thing? Am I seeing this person like this a lot, or they have these tendencies? And to try and be proactive in saying, hey, I think that this person may need a little bit of help. They may not ask for it. So let's make sure that we deliver that to them, because you never want to be the person that says, I wish I did this for somebody.
Yeah, it's funny, Dan. We see very clearly how the physical piece of all this has evolved over the years. When I played in college, we joked, we had a trainer that said, just put some ice on it or rub some dirt on it and get back out there. And we joked about that, but you see how that space has evolved. Sports medicine, completely different than it was 20, 30 years ago. And now I think that the mental wellness piece is just catching up to that, whereas before, as you mentioned, people would look the other way, you just have to deal with it, you need to be stronger, all these types of things, and they're real problems, right? Our young people are facing problems that none of us faced 20 years ago with the preference of social media and the pandemic and all these things. So we feel like we need to evolve, and it is our priority. We tell our student athletes it's our priority, and the best way to prove it is to actually execute on some of the things that we've been talking about. And I'm really thankful and grateful for the institution to provide us the opportunity to invest in people. And that's what we've done here. We invest, from my standpoint, we have limited resources, and where we have the resources available, we're going to invest in our people and in our student athletes, because our people help support and serve our student athletes, and it all turns into this formula of developing and delivering a championship experience and making sure that our people are in a really good space, as I said before, not just physically and winning championships on the field, but they need to be in that same headspace, and they feel really good about what they're accomplishing on a daily basis.
Yeah, you know, and people helping people, opportunities to grow and evolve. You've gotten to spend a calendar year and change here. So how would you define LeMoyne at this point?
Yeah, you know, it's a great place, and when I got here, a big reason why I came was because I felt like the individuals, the people were special, and they were genuine, and what you saw was what you got, and it was real. And the opportunity to work with Dr. LaMura was, for me, that was the cherry on top of the sundae, to be able to come here and work for a leader who was so dynamic and who cared so much about her people. And it's everything that I had hoped for back in January of 2020, I guess, when I actually accepted the job in December of 2019, whatever that time frame was. But yeah, I've been on the ground now over a year, and it's been a wonderful experience, and it's all about the people.
And we are here this morning with the opportunity to say that, you know, we've extended our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership that we started last year and continuing it into this year. And I would love to get your thoughts on where we've been and where, you know, you hope to go with this, because as you know, you and I are cut from the same cloth. We like to challenge ourselves.
That's right.
We like to do what we said we're going to do and then do more than that, and then for some odd reason you and I like to do more on top of more.
Of course.
So just what your thoughts are on the exclusive multimedia marketing partnership and where we go from here.
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed to have a partner like you, Dan, and your company. When we search for partnerships, we want to find like-minded people with like-minded missions, and about service to others, service to your community, and there's no one better in the Syracuse area that cares more and services their community and the media than you do. And for us, we're grateful to have that relationship, because you serve our student athletes very well. You serve our department very well, and our staff, and shine a light on all the great things that we're doing here, not just as an athletic department, but as a college. So it really wasn't much of a decision on our end to extend that agreement. Looking back, it's hard to comprehend all the ground that we've covered in the last 12 months together, and all the topics and the students and where we've gone, where we've come from. And I can tell you, looking forward, we're going to be sitting here a year from now, and we're going to have the same mentality and say, wow, can't believe we covered all that ground. Because I can tell you the future for LeMoyne College and LeMoyne Athletics is really bright, and what's straight ahead of us is so exciting, and to be able to share that and partner with you to walk along that journey for the next 12 months and hopefully for many years to come is really exciting for us.
Well, I thank you, and I appreciate that, and I second that, and I feel like a Dolphin, and I felt that way for a while, and my dad, a proud Dolphin. So the next 12 months are exciting. You're excited about the journey. We exclusively broke the reclassification and realignment conversation was happening here. Then we've been the exclusive trail of all of those updates. What can you tell us?
Yeah, well thanks, and we do appreciate having the opportunity to talk to you about these things, and you've been on the front end of all of it, and I'm sure you will continue to do so as we stroll through the fall. We've been busy on the reclassification front. We put together an ad hoc committee on potential athletics reclassification. That committee it's comprised of members of our board of trustees, some highly esteemed members of our faculty, our provost, our president, our other senior leaders on campus. I've been part of those conversations. We've met twice a week since the beginning of June, and we've we've dived very deeply into this topic. We're considering it from every angle. We've talked to many people. We've talked to presidents of colleges that have reclassified to try to find out the pros and cons of the move. Was it a good move? Was it a bad move? What are the pratfalls? What are the pitfalls? What should we avoid if we were thinking about this?
Yeah.
So I can tell you that we have not come to a decision, but we're nearing a point where our committee meetings will end. We've had tremendous dialogue. And yesterday, I guess it was Monday, we actually held our first open forum on campus. And there'll be 2 more of those. One will be on August 11th, and the other will be a Zoom session in August, where we're trying to gain as much feedback from the community as possible. And as we come to a decision, we want to listen to all those voices and try to explain our path ahead and where we may be headed. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time in the realignment world and the landscape, nationally and regionally. We knew that there would be a lull during the summer in terms of reclassification and realignment within the conferences. We expect that to pick up as we approach the academic year. So in the month of August and then September, we'll start to see some realignment movement again. And we want to be prepared so that we have the agency to make that decision, that if we're fortunate enough to gain an invitation to a conference, a Division I conference, it'll be LeMoyne's choice whether to say yes or no.
Yeah, because the date that we all have come to know, I've come to know over the last decade, is July 1st. You know, whenever you make that decision, typically, you know, of realignment, reclassification, and whatnot, it's the following summer, or in some of these schools' cases like Oklahoma and Texas, USC and UCLA, it's a couple years down the road. But to look at where we are right now and where it could be a year from now, and the fact that it doesn't happen overnight, people, you know, and if and when the announcement comes, there's all this work that goes into it. You have to exit one, you have to enter the other, and it's definitely been a very interesting world. I've done many realignment episodes of WakeUpCall for you all live, and you can check them out on YouTube and facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, where one of them I put the map out. And I actually drew the map of where things are and where things could go. So, you know, as someone who has spent so many years before coming to LeMoyne at Army and scheduling against a lot of these conferences, it's got to be pretty, I don't want to say surprising anymore, but 10 years ago, the world stopped and went nuts, and arguably 10 years later, we may see a realignment that once it is finished, will forever change all of collegiate athletics.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 10 years ago was the last major realignment, and then everything settled in primarily because the ACC had the foresight to build in that grant of rights, and I know it's keeping the ACC together right now. If you ask people, experts in the field, they feel like it's the grant of rights, and it's the grant of rights that really stabilized the conference realignment landscape over the last 10 years. And as those rights are starting to expire in 24, 25, you're starting to see movement again. And the feeling is that there's going to be movement, there has been movement, and then once it settles within the next 12 to 18 months, it's probably going to be settled for another 10 years again. So any opportunity that might come to LeMoyne's front porch might not come around again ever. It certainly may not come around again for 10 years. So it's really what's driving our conversations and our discussions is, hey, who are we? Who can we become? What might the future hold in a status quo scenario? Where might we go if we dream big? Are we prepared to make that type of commitment, both in dollars and in terms of the areas that we want to emphasize as an institution? Does it fit with our mission? Does it fit with our new strategic plan? Is it a holistic move on behalf of the institution, potentially, to rebrand itself and rebrand athletics and leverage athletics in a way that's never been done before here on campus? So all those things go into this formula that we're considering and talking about and discussing, and ultimately we'll come to a conclusion and a decision. Hopefully, if we decide that this would be in our best interest, that there's a conference that's willing to partner with LeMoyne, and we feel pretty confident that we're going to be in a good place either way. Final
piece going off of what you said, who is LeMoyne? in your definition, and what can you become?
Well, that's a great question, and I think LeMoyne is just a phenomenal institution. 75 years, a very young institution, but our mission speaks to who we are. And we're about people. Right? I won't read the mission off the wall or touchstone, but this is a caring institution, a caring community that is so committed to goodness. It's so committed to greatness. And now I segue to what we can become. I think we can become even greater than we are today. I think you always want to look to evolve and grow, and where's the next opportunity to extend. And this could be that. We may decide that it's not the right time, but you ask me who we are. We're this phenomenal gem of an institution in central New York that has just a rabid and unwavering group of alums that are loyal and care about this institution. Many of them settle right here in the community. It's kind of like Syracuse's hometown school. Who can we become? I like to dream big. I think it'd be incredibly exciting to expand our footprint and tell the story beyond central New York. We always talk about it being our Jesuit gem and the best kept secret. I don't want LeMoyne to be the best kept secret. I want people in our entire region to know what a tremendous institution and our mission and the stories of our student athletes that you help tell every single day. I want people to know about that, not just in central and western New York. I want them to know about it up and down the Atlantic seaboard. And that's my vision, to help grow this footprint and the message of this wonderful institution.
And coming from Bob Beretta, the Athletics Director here at LeMoyne College, myself, Dan Tortora, for this edition of AD and DT. Plenty to come, a lot to get excited about. You should be paying attention within the next few hours because we have more news for you. So we do have something. We give you a little crumb, but the full cookie's coming in a couple hours.
Right.
Bob, as always, I appreciate it.
Great having you. Good seeing you again, Dan.
And we have to say it, fins up.
Fins up.
We'll talk with you soon.
All right.